How many walk within the path of the jaguar or spider, the mother who weaves the energy field between the stars, the earth, and the realms that many would deem as dark or even demonic, as these weaving realms of potentiality, birth and rebirth, as in a spider web, is the same energy of frequency that is used to create and to tether the World Wide Web. The web that has no weaver. There's a book about that, by the way. It's a book on acupuncture potential and how chi works. I don't remember the author's name. I hear it's a good book. I didn't read it, but I'm an acupuncturist, so I heard it from enough clients as to the potential of that book. For those of you who has been seeing enough of my videos, you would see a very dark and a very light, humorous nature of myself. I'm all of it and I'm none of them at the same time. When I was 4 years old in kindergarten, I had this nightmare. It was one of those lucid dreaming nightmares, like I was in it. And yes, throughout my life, especially when I was young, I would be attacked by demons, entities, dark shadows, not realizing that I was either astral traveling, or you would say exiting my body, or entering my multi-dimensional consciousness when my conscious mind is in sleepy mode. And it was happening at a very young age, as far as I can remember. So my very first nightmare was that when school ended, kindergarten, my mom wasn't there to pick me up. So then I started to walk home. And as I got home, in my path, next to my house, was this huge lifelike spider with the head of a girl, a specific girl that I was intimidated by in kindergarten. She was a real life girl. I don't remember her name. But the spider was maybe 7 feet wide with its legs and everything, and maybe 5 feet in height. It was like alive and real, like watching like a movie, you know, of like these action heroes. But the head was of her. It was like her and the spider. It was terrifying. I woke up and I was terrified. But this is the kicker. I was not terrified of the spider or that formation. I was in awe. But when I looked up and I saw the head of that girl, I really was. And for years I would reflect back at that dream, and it took me a long time to realize that maybe she had a crush on me. But I was really intimidated by girls for years. Even from that kind of like turned on a sense of intimidation to girls. My biggest bullies in high school, my biggest bullies in grammar school from 3rd grade to about 7th was one or two females that really scared me. Like I was really scared for I was really so scared. I thought that they would beat me up, or they would like bully me a certain way. And now that I'm older, I'm realizing that it was that I was imprinting a message to them because they had a crush on me, and because I didn't reciprocate. I didn't even know how to. I wasn't in that field of like that form of attraction between a boy liking a girl. I was not there at all. I wasn't there at 13. But it was sort of like imprinted on me when I was 13, because it was like the cool thing. All my friends, everyone, my uncles, that they spoke to me completely transparent as to what they were attracted to and what they liked. So they started to speak to me like I was a grown man. And I was really good at wearing the mask. Like, yeah, I got it. I got you. You know what I mean? I knew how to hide behind the mask of how people walked. It was more of a survival thing for me. So because of that, I guess I did too good of a job, because they spoke to me as grown men. They spoke to me like grown men. So all this information started to make me nauseous in the beginning. I started to feel like sickened that men would look at women a certain way. But again, by the time puberty hit, I started to naturally be attracted to girls. But if you would have met me at 13, I would have been too afraid to speak in public, because again, my fears of being bullied was that anybody that I saw attraction to, I wanted them to train with me in my Kung Fu. I started training Kung Fu at 13. I wanted them to play with me, play basketball with me. I just wanted to be a kid. And my attraction to them would have been, you would say, non-sensual in that way. But for me, sensuality was co-creating with joy and in play. That was a real big thing to me. But my fears, again, going back to my fears of girls and that power of the dark nature of how girls are being or were being indoctrinated, right? But my journey was that girls were dark. So the culture or the cultivation, as in cultivating bacteria, but the cultivation of the populace of living in a very dense, dark place in Patterson, New Jersey, in the hood. You feel what I'm saying? Where my nervous system was still being engendered and nurtured. And because I wasn't receiving that from, let's say, Mama Bear or Papa Bear, but I was thrown in the hood at 7 years old, that's what I had to work with. And I'm grateful to it. But going back to the dream, I broke out in sweats. I was afraid. I was actually even afraid to go to school. It triggered something activated in me. And it wasn't the fear of spiders. It was the spider, the mother, you would say my mother, who brought me the gift of the potential or the reasoning as to why I chose to incarnate here. Now I could get mad at her, Mama Spider, because I'm like, why so young? I was young, man. But it was almost like an entrustment of that I was born as an old soul, but my vessel, my body, my thinking mind, right? And my nervous system was not yet calibrated. So with much love and much embodiment, she was always there. The spider energy was always there, because if the spider can interweave the visionary construct between the solar system, the stars, the earth, and we are part of it, well, are you the one being stuck in the web? Are you trying to kill the spider like people try to kill dragons, or they try to kill jaguars, or things that they fear of? Because what we fear will carry the action potential of a remembrance of the power that not only that you are, but that you carry just all within your construct of your genetic makeover. That's actually a mask of your genetic DNA blueprint, which does not require an embodiment. The great separation between the divine masculine and the feminine, and it's actually you to you. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman listening to this video. So because we are cultured to not see within ourselves, or to not see that the dark nature is a reflection, like a glass obsidian mirror, the truth and the nature of what you fail or refuse to see. So when the dark nature comes to you offering you a mirror, instead you start to reflect and start to attack with religious conditioning, with scientific conditioning. The same. It's the same. They're both the same counteracting mirrors, religion and politics, of this triangular shape, or this triad of this connection, keeping us, or keeping one within the lowest or the lower density field of what the new age mind would have no choice but to stabilize, which is rationality, logic, logo, as in branding and imprinting, the moment, refusing to, or being fearful or frightful to expanding the realm or the world that's actually keeping us in harmonics, but we refuse to see the great mother or the embodiment of what's even larger or greater action potential of these muscles. What? No, let me stop. Not that much muscles, but I don't lift weights. I don't really lift weights. I'm actually just doing calisthenics, and I just eat mostly fruits, and I don't eat a lot as much as I used to. So I'm muscle. At around 14 or 15 years old in high school, I began to walk the path of I would say the Panther, because my name was Panther in high school. It was given to me by a great friend of mine and brother. And it's something that it not only stuck, and I had no books to go by, I had no astrology to go by, I didn't have elders to speak to me or teach me at all. I just knew that I needed to walk the path of being the Panther. I said, I'm the Panther. And I started to like create all of my Xing Yi Chuan, my Kung Fu practices, with the eyes of the mind of a panther, but not in so much of the panther possessing me, but I was never separate from the great panther. And yet I didn't have the levels of comprehension to be able to speak on it, but I kind of did for those students that I had when I was in high school. We would actually open up many books without cracking open a physical book. It was always coming from the ethers. And why is that? Because the jaguar in cultures, I believe the Mayan, the Aztec, the Incas, all the different schools of thoughts in the state of astrology, but the great jaguar is the protector of the great Mother Earth. The jaguar is multidimensional. What? It's music. Nothing is coincidence, all in divine timing. Dark energy, dark forces, right? When you walk within your darker field of your lower plexus of your lower solar plexus of your sacrum energy. And depending on how you've been imprinted in where you've been growing up, it could have been hip-hop, it could have been reggaeton, right? It could have been reggae, right? And regardless of the music, is that when you align to something, you don't need anybody to tell you anything. You just move with it, right? You move the music and the beat. Well, that is now what I'm attempting to create, is a conversation between the interconnection between the great jaguar, the panther, and the spider. The spider energy is not only the action potential, but it's the web of creation that does not get illuminated until the creator energy, the one that becomes conscious of, starts to enliven. And you know this because if you actually walk in trails, right? And oftentimes it's the webs of spiders that tell you, do not go this way, right? I got lost several times in the Stairways of Heaven up in New Jersey. It's an awesome trail, by the way, but I tend to get lost. And it was a training ground for me in the beginning when I was starting to walk on trails by myself and without having any blueprint of any kind of like roadmap, I mean, from someone else. I just needed to go into it. I would find myself really lost, and I would see like an entire bed of spider webs, and my instincts, my logic, and my intuition at the same time, because I was afraid, is that obviously there's nobody walking these trails right now, because these webs wouldn't have been created that quickly, not like that, an entire bed of webs. So I would turn around, and then I would see the light, literally a sunlight, telling me go this way. It was an attempt for the universe to show me to not judge the gradients of the canvas that we live in, but to see each code. Again, there's a remote viewing fly. Check out my last video. I go deeper with the fly, by the way. It's not the fly that bothers you. And yes, the fly bothers you. It's actually working with the canvas of all creation. That as you start speaking, as the jaguar walks, do you think I give a fuck who's remote viewing me right now? When you are walking with the purity that you are, see, the beings that remote view are the beings that cannot walk my walk, nor should they, nor would I want them to. So they cross the fields using the World Wide Web of the ethers, using, let's say, spider energy, using her energy, using her, manipulating her. That's the great sickness. That's the great sickness of the sick masculine. Being in separation, yet manipulating and utilizing the energies of the great mother. Not limited to the spider, but the spider does not care, because there are no limitations. That's why you destroy a web today, and the spider will work with the magic of what already exists. She's just revealing what's there. And the web of the second creation will never look like the web of the first one, but the sacred geometry will always be the same, depending on that particular spider's imprint. I cannot be the only teacher. You can't be the only teacher. Allow all of Mother Earth to be all of our teacher. Because once we graduate from being the student, when you get tired of being hungry all the time for lessons, or tired of attacking somebody like me, which doesn't happen because people don't have the fucking cojones to walk my path, because I will convert you into being my friend, or just saying like, this energy is just too much, and they will just walk confused. And I would be sad, because the point is that there is no point. I'm here to release any information that you may align to. And if I walk with, such as Kung Fu, Qigong, Chinese medicine, I don't care if you don't go to school for acupuncture. I will train along with you so that you can actually understand the theory of acupuncture. Wink, wink. Maybe some more, right? More theory. Yes, it's a license, right? So you can't just legally practice anywhere, but the jaguar gives no fucks. Because the jaguar respects all dimensions, as I do, by the way. I do respect all laws, but I also respect when the laws no longer serve the new skin that humanity walks in and walks with. You would think snake energy. You would think it's attributed to much energies that you already walk with in your sacrum, which is attributed to the Kundalini energy, right? Yet you are the temple who walks with an energy that's so sacred that elixir of that sacred geometry of spiraling is also attributed to what? The ayahuasca vine, the great mother of the Amazon. Does it mean that you have to work with and be served ayahuasca? No, the great mother doesn't care if you do or you don't. If you're hungry, train with me. But when you're hungry, you might be too afraid of the spider in the moment, because that's working with the insubstantial energy, the upright energy of the expansive nature of how you create when you no longer see yourself in hunger, or at least in the moment. That's the meditative state of an advanced consciousness, which is actually you. It's advanced because it's impossible these days for humanity to stabilize unconditional love in a very, very dense state of matter. And the spider is here to show you that it does not matter. There is no matter. You kill the spider, the next spider will show up, because the spider is a collective energy of consciousness. And humans forgot that. So the spider no longer becomes your teacher. Ayahuasca is no longer your teacher. Marcus, I'm not claiming to be a teacher of any kind. I'm just simply a mirror to myself and to you. It's the same. When that begins to collapse, then you will understand the jaguar. The jaguar sees within the nature of darkness in vivo, not in judgment, but in a spectrum of light that's within. So within the dark nature of a hungry jaguar, there's a form of being satiated. There's a form of being full and fulfilled within the balance of a very powerful jaguar. I chose to walk without even realizing the path that was being imprinted to me based on multi-dimensional, multifaceted remembrances that the mind alone could not yet capture, because we only capture within our 5 sensory fields. So this one is a short video. I'm making an attempt to cut it short. I could go mad deeper, but are you willing and able and capable, by being curious, by the way, as going as deep and profound with me, by comprehending perhaps in the waters that I am swimming in right now? Are you daring enough, or at least curious enough, to continue our conversation as I cut off the eyes of this technology? Because once we cut off the eyes of this technology called a camera, am I also cutting off your eyes? Or are you cutting off mine?